This is CNN Breaking News.
And we start with breaking news about the 29-year-old computer technician that before today, most people had never heard of. But now the world knows Edward Snowden. He is the man who gave a British newspaper, The Guardian, details of a top-secret American program that has been collecting Americans' email and phone records. Lisa Desjardins is following this from our Washington bureau. So, Elisa, what more do we know about Edward Snowden, why he is now coming forward, or at least why his identity is being revealed?
We've learned a lot in just the last hour, Fred. No understatement. This is a historic moment, especially in the debate over security and personal freedoms. Just over an hour ago, as I said, the Guardian newspaper did something stunning, outing the name of its own leaker, the man who gave them information on one of the most broad and secret U.S. programs ever made public. Let's show that video again of the website where they released that name and that video. This is Edward Snowden, as you say, a computer systems expert. He's had administrative ability in past jobs, and those jobs include working for the CIA and most recently as a contractor for the NSA. So he could set some passwords, oversee security. Snowden told The Guardian that he worked for the CIA, and it was during that job that he came to realize the scope of these programs. Then he moved to the NSA as a contractor in 2009. Even more, that's when he realized that he felt he needed to leak this information because of the scope of collection, that even if regular Americans weren't targeted, he felt this could ultimately affect them.
Even if you're not doing anything wrong, you're being watched and recorded. And the storage capability of these systems increases every year consistently by orders of magnitude. To where it's getting to the point you don't have to have done anything wrong. You simply have to eventually fall under suspicion from somebody, even by a wrong call.
Okay, here are some of the things that we know about Edward Snowden, again from the video and report by The Guardian. 29 years old, computer technician who says he's worked in several positions again at the CIA and at the NSA. Snowden told The Guardian that he is in fact right now consulting for the firm Booz Allen Hamilton in Hawaii. I called and emailed the communications staff for Booz Allen. They have not gotten back to me yet. But Fred, this story is quite a blockbuster. It's an incredible read. What The Guardian is saying here, Fred, is that just a few days ago, this man left behind his entire life in Hawaii. They say that he did not even tell his girlfriend that he would be gone, told his girlfriend why he was leaving, that he told his supervisor he needed to leave for a few weeks because he needed treatment for epilepsy, which The Guardian says he does suffer from. But essentially that was a cover for him to leave the country and then to fly to where he is now. Edward Snowden, according to The Guardian, is in Hong Kong. Also in that story, he is quoted as saying he does not expect to return to this country, and he is nervous about possible retaliation from our intelligence agencies. Just an incredible story, all of this breaking in the last hour.
It is an incredible story. All right, Lisa, thanks so much. And more about that contractor that he was working for. Not only does it have offices there, apparently, according to that reporting, in Hawaii, but also in Virginia and Atlanta. We did try to reach out to the Atlanta office, and no answer on that. So overall, what does this mean legally for Edward Snowden? On the phone right now with us is CNN senior legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin. So, Jeff, this is, of course, just in its infancy. We're learning just bit by bit about his whereabouts, possibly in Hong Kong, that he worked for an American contractor, that he did spend some time the last 4 years at the NSA offices, and also had formerly worked at the CIA. So is there like a contract that people sign when they work for the NSA or the CIA that they, would be prosecuted if they were to leak information of this caliber?
Very much, yes, for sure. Anyone who has access to classified information, whether you work for the government or for a contractor, has to acknowledge the very severe criminal penalties that come with intentional disclosure of classified information. And in his interview today with The Guardian, he has acknowledged that he gave this classified information to journalists as an act of civil disobedience. And there is no question that the United States government will want to prosecute him. What complicates this, of course, is that he is now in Hong Kong which is under the control of the People's Republic of China, which is our adversary when it comes to the matter of disclosing confidential and classified information. So it seems unlikely that he will be extradited from Hong Kong. So as long as he doesn't leave Hong Kong, he's probably safe from U.S. prosecution.
Well, that's interesting. So, and when we talk about prosecution, what are the avenues? A case like this, would this be something handled in civilian court, or would this be something by way of military tribunal?
No, this would be an ordinary American criminal court. It's a felony to intentionally reveal classified information. It's also potentially a violation of the Espionage Act, which carries very severe penalties. I don't see any reason why this would be under any sort of extraordinary court like a military tribunal or something else. These kind of crimes are prosecuted in American courtrooms all the time if you can get your hands on the defendant. Here, of course, as I said, the defendant, if he's telling the truth, is in Hong Kong and probably outside the jurisdiction of American courtrooms. But if the Justice Department can get their hands on him, he will certainly be prosecuted in an American criminal court.
To what extent could the U.S. go to try to get their hands on him, as you say, even if in Hong Kong?
You know, that's a very complicated question, and I don't really know the answer. Hong Kong has a unusual status. It is technically part of China, but it operates quasi-independently. But I don't know what the status of our extradition treaty, if there is one, with Hong Kong. Bottom line, based on what I know about these sorts of things, I think it's very unlikely that the American government will get their hands on this fellow anytime soon, if ever. But there may be procedures that they can follow to try to at least interview him, if not arrest him in Hong Kong.
And in general, or if there is a way of generalizing the parameters of prosecuting someone who has allegedly revealed U.S. secrets, what kind of penalty are we talking about potentially? If indeed
the penalties could be very great. For disclosure of classified information, it could be something like 5 to 10 years. If the Espionage Act is used, the penalties could be much greater than that. Again, I don't know the circumstances exactly of what exactly he disclosed and how and when and where. There's a lot you need to know before you could talk about what precise crimes, much less what sentences he could get. But certainly it's a matter of many years. It's not, a slap on the wrist kind of crime if people are prosecuted.
And of course, we're talking about it, an admission here, whether it be by way of printed material in the Guardian newspaper or perhaps even more recently in this videotape that now the Guardian is revealing on its website. And so if indeed the U.S. were to get past the barriers of whether he would be extradited, etc., prosecuting him, he may have just made it easier for them, if not for the geographic complications.
That's right. He is essentially admitting to the crime. Civil disobedience is acknowledging that you broke a law for what you regard as a higher cause, and that's what he has done. So it doesn't appear like it would be very difficult to bring a criminal case against him if, as you point out, the federal government can get their hands on him, and that seems highly doubtful, at least in the short run, because Hong Kong is part of the People's Republic of China, and they are not going to be in any great hurry or willing at all to turn him over to us.
Yeah, and this happening now on the heels of a rather interesting, maybe breakthrough kind of summit involving the President of the United States and the President of China. It'll be interesting to see whether this new relationship that was forged just on the West Coast this weekend will in any way assist in this effort. Jeffrey Toobin, thanks so much. Appreciate your insight on this. So again, Edward Snowden now admitting and that he is the person who helped to reveal this NSA information leaked to the Guardian newspaper and now in Hong Kong.